Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. And this is your tip of the week. I have several different models of sewing machines. I have a Viking sewing machine and a Baby Lock sewing machine. I like both my machines. They both have things that they can do that are very helpful to me. These are presser feet for my Viking sewing machine. They didn't come with the machine. They are specialty feet that you can order for the Viking. They do things that you don't necessarily work on every day. These are more for clothing. This one rolls the edge, folds it, and hems it all at once. This one here is a ruffle presser foot, not a gathering presser foot. There's a difference between a gathering presser foot and a ruffle foot. Gathering just makes lots of little gathering stitches where it bunches the fabric up. This one does tiny little folds of fabric. I haven't used it yet because when I bought it and got it home, I took one look at it and it was scary to me. One of these days I'm going to try to use it. This one here takes a lot of practice. I tried using it and I wasn't very good at it. So be careful when you buy specialty feet. Are you really going to use it all that much? Or is there some other method you could do to achieve the same goal? So I'm going to specifically talk about different ways to fold and hem your fabric. Now I want to make a blouse that has a side split on each side at the bottom, but I want the edges curved. So in order to curve edges, because maybe the pattern you bought doesn't have curved edges. So I've taken both pieces of fabric and take something round. This is about a 7.5-inch diameter bowl, and set it up to where each side of the bowl comes to the edge of your fabric, and then trace around it. Then place pins to hold the fabric and cut it, either using a rotary cutter or pair of scissors. This is a blouse of mine. I did not make it. This was made in a factory somewhere around the world. But it has that tiny edge that presser foot can do. Now in your clothing factories, they have specialty feet and they're doing the same stitch over and over again, so they get used to doing this pretty well. But for the average individual, they're not necessarily going to do this kind of a hem very often. Now this fabric does not stretch, so it's not that easy to fold your fabric and get it to lay flat for this curved edge in a hem. Most of your clothing patterns will state that you need to do a 5/8 of an inch seam on most of the seams in your blouses. Of course, when you're reading a pattern, you should read every part of it because sometimes they don't have a 5/8 of an inch seam, but for the most part they do. So this is my side seam. Normally when I use my serger, I bring both edges together and serge it all the way down to the end. But because I have this split on the side at the bottom, I serged those edges separately and then pressed it open. Now I have to deal with this curved edge. As I said earlier, fabric that stretches will just roll and lay down right away. There's not a problem with it at all. But fabric that doesn't stretch will not roll and lay down. So you have to kind of do a little extra tweaking to get it to do that. So this edge is serged. On the top side here, you will notice there's some dark thread going through here. I did a large basting stitch. I used dark thread on the top because I want to make sure when I go to gather this up that I pull on the correct thread, because the thread on the bottom is just white. So select a different color for the top thread, so you pull the correct one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start at one end. I'm going to hold on to the top thread and just gather it a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. Then I'm going to go over to this side, pull on the top thread, and gather it a little bit. And what you want to do is keep gathering it until it curls and lays down flat. So now this is the back side. So I've got it laid down. So you don't have to have any tucks. There's such small gathers that it's barely noticeable. So remember, you had a 5/8 side seam, so this needs to be folded over 5/8. So you want to just measure and pin this down. Now you're going to flip it over to the top. I'm going to use a twin needle because it looks professional and it just looks very finished. You don't have to do a twin needle stitch, but I highly recommend it. So to start that stitch, I would go up here to the top of where it splits and then center your twin needles over where you feel that edge, the edge of the stitching here, and it's very noticeable. You can feel it. Then you're going to stitch right over that serged edge all the way around. So when you're done, it looks like this. It lays nice and flat and looks very professional. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tip of the week and that you learned something new. The more videos you watch on sewing clothing, the easier it's going to get. Even if you don't necessarily like the particular clothing item, you will learn different sewing techniques that can apply to so many other types of clothing. Now, if you're interested in learning how to sew clothing together, I have many videos or tutorials on it. So there's going to be a playlist link down below your YouTube screen that you can click on. So to get to that section, you want to just scroll down to where you see the words Show More and the down arrow. Click on it and that whole section will expand open and you will see many different links down there. Now don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.